Did you know there's an entire generation in Japan that's been forgotten? They're called the lost generation, people living in isolation, without hope. And there's more, neighborhoods so poor they seem like another world, and even cyber cafes where people sleep because they have nowhere else to go. Today, I'm going to show you this invisible side of Japan, and it just might surprise you. If you look at Japan from the outside, you'll see a country of cutting-edge technology, robots on every corner, and a culture deeply influenced by anime like Solo Leveling and Jujutsu Kaisen. It's the world's third largest economy, with a healthy population and companies that anyone would recognize, like Toyota, Sony, and Nintendo. In many ways, Japan seems like a perfect country. But if you take a closer look beneath the surface, you'll realize that while all of this is true, there's another side. A much darker side to the lives of the people who actually live there, a side most of the world never gets to see. Let's start with what's known as Japan's lost generation. After the economic bubble burst in the 1990s, many young people entering the job market were met with a harsh reality: scarce and temporary jobs, with no stability or chance for growth. These young people, now adults, became known as the Ice Age generation or the Lost Generation. Over time, many of them got stuck in a cycle of unstable jobs, social isolation, and lack of support. With no clear opportunities, some chose to completely withdraw from society, becoming what's known as hikikomori, people who shut themselves in their rooms for months, even years. It's estimated that there are over 1 million hikikomori in Japan, many of them part of this lost generation. This doesn't just highlight the cracks in Japan's economic and social systems. It's a warning about what happens when a society turns its back on the vulnerable. Beyond the hikikomori, there's another large group of young people facing similar struggles, known as freeters. These individuals, typically between 18 and 34, work in temporary or part-time jobs with no stability or benefits. Many freeters still live with their parents, simply because their income isn't enough to support themselves. In fact, it's estimated that around 2/3 of all freeters still live at home, relying on their parents for shelter and support. This led to the rise of the term parasite singles, referring to adults who continue living with their parents, enjoying a comfortable lifestyle without significantly contributing to household income. While the term sounds negative, the reality is that many of these young people simply have no other option in today's harsh job market. Another emerging group is known as the Satori generation, young people who, faced with economic and social hardships, have chosen to give up on traditional ambitions like careers, marriage, and consumerism. They live minimalist lives, focusing only on what's essential and avoiding the stress of modern society. And while they might seem like they've reached some form of enlightenment, in truth, many of them have simply stopped fighting a system they believe is rigged against them. Japan's lost generation is a sobering reminder that even in a nation known for its order and progress, there are still many who've been left behind. But Japan's dark side doesn't stop with economic and social struggles. There's also a peculiar cultural phenomenon that directly affects foreigners living in or visiting the country: the so-called gaijin hunters. The word gaijin means foreigner in Japanese, and gaijin hunters refers to Japanese people who are unusually obsessed with foreigners, actively seeking interactions with them for various reasons. Sometimes, it's about wanting to practice foreign languages, especially English. Other times, it's driven by romantic interest or just curiosity about other cultures. In many cases, these interactions can be friendly and lead to positive cultural exchanges. But in other situations, gaijin hunters can come off as intrusive or even make foreigners feel uncomfortable, especially when they're overly persistent in unwanted interactions. Now, it's important to say that not every Japanese person who's interested in foreigners has bad intentions. Far from it. But it's still a good idea to stay aware of certain red flags. Tips for foreigners in Japan: watch out for excessive interest. If someone seems overly enthusiastic about you just because you're a foreigner, that could be a red flag. Protect your privacy. Don't share personal or financial information with people you've just met. Pay attention to vague behavior. If the person avoids talking about their own life or gives unclear answers, they might be hiding something. Be cautious of fast relationships. If someone quickly pushes for a serious relationship or marriage, that's definitely something to be wary of. There have even been rare reports of foreigners getting involved with people who were already in relationships or who had ties to groups like the Yakuza. While these cases are uncommon, it's always smart to take your time and truly get to know someone before getting seriously involved. And continuing this deep dive into Japan's hidden side, let's talk about the country's poorest neighborhoods. If you've ever watched a travel vlog about Japan, you've probably come away thinking the whole country looks like that, clean, organized, and ultra-modern. But that's not the full picture. There are places that contrast sharply with that polished image. Places that reveal a much harsher, lesser-known side of life in Japan. One powerful example is Kamagasaki, located in Osaka. It's known as the largest slum in Japan, home to a significant population of day laborers, abandoned elderly, and unhoused people. Even though the government has tried to erase the name Kamagasaki from official maps, locals still use it to refer to the area. The streets are lined with old buildings, some of them completely abandoned, and many residents live in extremely poor conditions, relying on day-to-day work just to survive. Another neighborhood that reflects this hidden reality is Nishinari, also in Osaka. While it's often praised for being orderly and clean, Nishinari is home to a low-income population, including workers who simply can't afford better housing. The neighborhood is also known for housing Yakuza offices, Japan's infamous mafia, which adds another layer of complexity to its reputation. In Tokyo, the Sanya district is frequently associated with Japan's so-called disappeared, people who have withdrawn from society. Historically home to lower caste laborers, Sanya has become a kind of refuge for those who want to distance themselves from conventional life. Despite some efforts to revitalize the area, Sanya still carries the marks of poverty and deep social stigma. These neighborhoods reveal a side of Japan that's rarely shown in travel guides or anime, a side that contrasts sharply with the country's polished image of prosperity and innovation. They are a powerful reminder of the social and economic inequalities that persist even in one of the world's most developed nations. Yakuza, the Japanese mafia. As we continue to explore Japan's lesser-known realities, we can't ignore the presence of the Yakuza, the notorious Japanese mafia that, despite its criminal nature, maintains an almost institutional presence in the country. The origins of the Yakuza go back to the 17th century, beginning with marginalized groups in feudal Japan, such as the Bakudo, gamblers, and tequila peddlers. Over time, these groups evolved into organized crime syndicates, adopting strict codes of conduct inspired by Bushido, the samurai code of honor. The Yakuza structure is hierarchical and family-like. At the top is the Oyabon, the father figure, followed by the Koban, the children, who swear absolute loyalty to their boss. This bond is often sealed through a sake-sharing ritual called sakazuki, symbolizing the recruit's entry into the family. And when someone breaks the code, there's a brutal consequence. Yubitsum, the ritual amputation of part of the pinky finger, performed as a form of apology and punishment. Today, the Yakuza is involved in a wide range of activities, both illegal and surprisingly legal. On the illegal side, they're known for drug trafficking, extortion, prostitution, and illegal gambling. But at the same time, they invest in legitimate industries like construction, finance, and real estate, using these businesses to launder money and hide the profits from their criminal operations. Despite their criminal nature, the Yakuza maintains a semi-legitimate presence in Japanese society. In the aftermath of natural disasters, like the Kobe earthquake in 1995 and the Tohoku earthquake and tsunami in 2011, Yakuza members actually provided aid to victims. These efforts were widely reported in the media and contributed to the group's ambiguous reputation. Some even view them as a kind of protector of society, even though their actions clearly cross the line into organized crime. But their presence is especially felt in low-income neighborhoods, like Kamagasaki and Nishinari in Osaka, where they maintain local offices and exert quiet influence over the community. These areas, marked by poverty, isolation, and neglect, often become fertile ground for recruiting new members and expanding the mafia's reach. With growing pressure from Japanese authorities and the introduction of stricter laws against organized crime, the Yakuza is facing more and more obstacles to maintaining its grip. Still, their presence remains an unshakable part of Japan's darker reality, a reminder of the contradictions that exist beneath the surface of a society that often chooses to look the other way when it comes to life on the margins. Final topic, the internet cafe refugees. To wrap up our journey through the lesser-seen sides of Japan, we arrive at a phenomenon that, while not widely known, is deeply impactful: the so-called internet cafe refugees. Amidst all the modernity and technological advancement, thousands of people in Japan have turned to 24-hour internet cafes as makeshift homes. These places, originally meant for digital entertainment, now offer services like showers, unlimited drinks, and private cubicles, becoming a last resort for those without a fixed address. It's estimated that in Tokyo alone, around 4,000 people live in these cafes. Many are temporary workers or unemployed individuals who, due to high rent prices and strict rental requirements, choose this option as a temporary solution. Life inside these cafes is far from easy. The cubicles are tiny, offering little comfort or privacy. Financial instability and a lack of social support make it extremely hard for these individuals to transition into regular housing. During the COVID-19 pandemic, things got even worse. When cafes were temporarily shut down to prevent the spread of the virus, many people were left without a place to sleep. In response, some local governments opened temporary shelters, like repurposed sports centers, to provide relief. This phenomenon shines a harsh light on the social and economic inequality that exists in modern-day Japan. Beneath the country's image of prosperity and order, there are countless people living on the margins, struggling just to get by. Throughout this video, we've explored the hidden sides of Japan, from the lost generation to the gaijin hunters, the marginalized neighborhoods, and now, the internet cafe refugees. Each of these stories reveals the complex and sometimes contradictory reality of a society that, while advanced in many ways, still faces deep and difficult challenges. If you enjoyed this content and want to keep exploring Japan beyond the cliches, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.